Welcome back everyone, this is the Hello World guy again, and now we are back with our Unreal Engine for Beginner series. And in the last video we set up the Unreal Engine and basically created a new project, and now here we are in our new project. And once you open your engine you will see something similar to this, like it won't exactly be like this, but you know, kind of like this. So it might be different because I've kind of moved around here a bit. So basically when the engine start, the first thing you will notice is that we have got a bunch of different windows here, a different bunch of different like areas, and so we have got this top toolbar, and then we have got this outliner, and then we have got this details panel, a place actors panel, a content browser. We have also got an output log. I'm going to close that for now. And we have also, and then we have got this big thing which is what we call the viewport. Now this viewport is essentially the place from where you actually view your game world. So first thing you want to learn is how to move around in this viewport before you go ahead and learn other stuff. So in order to begin, what you need to do is you need to basically, so in here to move, if you like right click, then you can kind of turn around and look around, and then you can use the arrow keys or the WASD keys to actually move around, like and then you can that's pretty easy to move around. So you basically hold down your right mouse button and then keep like turning it, and then you can also use WASD or arrow keys to actually move around. So yeah, moving around is pretty simple. And once you have learned how to move around, you can also like single click, and then you can like turn left and right and then move forward. So that's a way to do it. And if you like so you basically what you can do is like this. So for example, you're standing here, you hold down your left mouse button, not the right one, this time the left mouse button. This normally selects stuff, but if you hold it down and then you go forward, then you can go forward, and you move your mouse backwards, you can move backwards, and if you look left and right, you can actually look left and right. This does not happen with the right mouse button, it's completed for turning, and then you can move using WASD. This is the way I prefer to move, just hold down right mouse button and then just use WASD to move and turn wherever you want to. You can use left mouse button to do it. You can only turn left and right, and you can go forwards and backwards. If you hold down the middle mouse button, you can go up and down, and left and right as well. So you can go left and right and up and down, but you can't go forward. And then you can hold first the left mouse button to actually go forward, and yeah, that's basically how this whole thing works. So this scene here that you are seeing has got a bunch of objects. Some are represented by icons while some are actual physical objects, and if you click any of these objects, you can see we select them and we see this. So this is basically if you have actually ever used Unity before, then these axes will be kind of different. This is basically x-axis for like forward, and then y and Z for left and right axes. Yeah, pretty simple. So basically but the problem here is that in Unity we have got a different set of axes. Y normally points up, while this basically a bit different in Unity. I'm not wrong. Yeah, it is different in Unity. I can't remember actually, but I think it's similar to Blender, this axis system. So what you basically it's nothing like hard to remember. You can just use these arrows to actually move around. We will get move things around, and we will get to that in more detail later. But first thing that you need to understand is you can basically left click on anything to select it, whether it's an icon like this one or an actual physical object like this chair over here. And then now let's get to the transformations, which is basically moving things around. So you can see these axes. You can use these axes to move stuff up and down, left and right. And ignore this lighting needs to be rebuilt message, because we are using static lighting here. So it's basically asking us to rebuild the shadows every time we move everything. If you do not want that, then just select the these objects and make sure that all the lights, so all the lights, and make them movable. But this would be a bit we will discuss this later, because I don't think we need to do it now. So basically, if I move this, you can see I can move it with the x-axis, and I can move it on the y-axis as well, and on the z-axis. And if you click on like this, you can move it on two axes at once. If you click on this handle kind of thing, and you click right in the middle, you can move it all on all axes in one go. Yeah, that's pretty simple for moving. You can move this chair over here if you want to, like that. And now this chair is not pointing at the table, so you might want like to turn it towards the actual table. And in order to do that, you can go ahead and you can see these icons above here. Now you can see these, don't worry about these, there are a lot of things in Unreal Engine, might be a bit overwhelming at first, but you just need to only learn the things that you actually need to learn, ignore everything else basically. So you can see here that we have got this translate objects, and if I select this, we get into rotate mode. And here you can see we've got the same axis but in kind of a different way, and I can actually use this to rotate the thing, and I can rotate the chair to face my actual table, and that's pretty awesome. So and the last thing we want is to go under scale. Now the scale basically allows you to make objects smaller or larger, and you can see that looks kind of bad, but normally you want to scale stuff uniformly unless it's a cube that you're modifying or something. So you scale uniformly, you basically need to select the middle portion and then you can move your mouse, yeah, that looks awesome. This is a quite large chair now. So I'm going to also go ahead and you don't need to actually like press these buttons. You can just use W for movement, E for rotation, and R for scale. So yeah, the top keys on your keyboard, you can press E to rotate, and you can just turn this towards the actual table, and then you can kind of move this a bit to the left, I guess. Yeah, that looks pretty awesome. Yeah, so you can basically like move stuff around pretty easily. It should not be too difficult to do, and you can obviously move around yourself as well, and that's pretty awesome. And by the way, make sure you save everything. Just press Ctrl S, simple, like in basically every other program. So now I have also saved my level, and what I want to do now is you want to basically like play the game and see how it's actually like inside of the game. In order to do that, you can see these are a lot of buttons up here, and you don't need to worry about all of these. You can see this play button here and this launch one. We are going to just hit play, which will actually play the game in the editor. If you click launch, it will build the game, and launch is as a separate process, but we don't want that. We can just going to hit play, and you can see it will start to play the game inside of our actual viewport. And you can see I can inside of the game, I am inside the game now. If you click your mouse button, you will automatically, your mouse will be captured. You can see I cannot see it anymore. So in order to get out of this, you can just press escape whenever you want to get out. And you can see in the actual game, I can just fly around like I could in the viewport. And the icons are not here because they obviously won't be visible in the game view. They are only visible inside of the viewport. So now that I am in the game view, they are not visible, and you can see that collisions are working. I cannot like go through stuff while I could in the viewport, but everything else is pretty much similar except the fact I don't need to hold down my mouse. So the reason this is happening is because Unreal Engine is using a default player for us, which happens to be called a pawn. We will default pawn. We will get to the details later, and that basically does not allow the player to do anything except just flying around, I guess. So yeah, that's basically what we have got right now, and you can see that the shadows are looking kind of weird. That's because we have got static lighting, which means it's built once, and then it's not everything time the object are changed, then it is the lighting is revealed as well. This results in high quality lighting. But what I will prefer is to just select, if you go under here, the world outliner. So I think it's a time to introduce you to this. You can see this is basically gives you a list of all of the objects in your scene. So you can see in here, this is our actual world level, and then inside of here I have got my audios. This is basically organizes them into folders. These folders are not necessary to create. You can create them yourself, and they don't actually change the actual game. They only change how you see stuff in here. So you can see in the audio thing, I have got this sound which basically plays a background music, but don't need to worry about that. If you go under this light section, we have got two lights. When you select one light, you can see this details panel shows all of the details of the objects essentially. And in here you can see we have got a bunch of stuff for transform, for the actual values of the movement. So if I remove the light, they will change, but you don't need to worry about yourself with all of the stuff here. Just go ahead in the mobility and change it to movable. And if you change it to movable for this light source, then it will go to dynamic lighting, lighting as the scene as you go along, and you can see now the shadows are looking perfect. So this was a basic introduction of the viewport and the world outliner and details panel. Now we will get into the other panels and seeing how to like open up assets and create stuff. So yeah, we'll be doing that now. So I will basically quickly be going over these now, and it's not like anything difficult, and you can just hit escape to exit the play mode. And you can see in the in here I've got place actors window, which you do not need to worry about. It's like used to add new stuff, but we are not adding anything out to our scene right now, so we are not going to worry about that. And in the content browser, you can see here we have got basically this is where all of your project files are stored. And since our project is basically empty, we have only got the starter content here, which happens to have which you if you remember, we imported that in the last video. And this is basically provides a bunch of assets that you can reuse that are remade in Unreal Engine. And if you open this up, you can see this contains a lot of folders. And for example, you can go under maps, and you should see this minimal default map in which we are actually right now. So if I double click this, then we will come back in the map like here. And if I go under this advanced lighting map, then you can see it's basically showing some really advanced lighting, I guess. You know, this is basically like a different kind of map, but we don't need to worry about that. If you go under this normal starter map and let it like actually open up, you can see it takes a little bit to load because this map is a bit kind of larger than the one we actually saw previously. You can see this map happens to be an extremely large one. Now in the next video, we will explore this map and see what kind of stuff Unreal Engine has to offer before we start actually making our game. As far as this video is concerned, I'm going to end it here. And in this video, we basically learned the way Unreal Engine basically works and the UI of the engine. And in the next video, we will start by looking at some more, like getting actually some advanced and actually getting started in making our game. So we'll do that in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss it, and share this video with others who want to learn Unreal Engine. And well, bye.